What's up, everybody? I'm Dan again from the Bant Express. Just want to put a little bit of a disclaimer before you listen to this podcast. I was given directions to a really nice quiet coffee shop to do this podcast, and unfortunately I'm a retard. Didn't pay attention to the proper directions and went to the wrong building altogether. The interview itself was great. It's with a member of Dark Oasis Studios, a gaming company in Ireland, a girl called Hayley McConaghy. And it was a good interview and stuff like that. There's nothing wrong with that. It was a good podcast. The only problem is with the phone that I was using to record the sound, and the fact I didn't go to that particular coffee shop. It was really loud and you could hear people a lot in the background. I did as best as I could to normalise the sound and fix it and take out the background noise. But the more I took out of the background noise, the more took the ambient was taken out. The more took out of actually our own voices. And made it real pixelated, and for lack of a better word, pixelated, so the voices weren't as clear. I've done as much balancing as I can, so you can still hear Hayley perfectly, but she's got a bit of a quieter voice than myself. So for the most part, there is a bit of a differentiation when you hear the background noise. But it doesn't take away from your ability to hear the conversation. It's very clear and you can't hear it. It's just it's not as crisp and as silent as the rest of my recordings because of just where I've done them. Still, I know you're going to enjoy it. It was a short podcasting experience to the rest of them, in comparison to the rest of them, but it was a real good one. I enjoyed it a lot, and it was interesting talking to her as well. But nevertheless, the whole point about this disclaimer is to say that you will hear background chatter and you'll hear people talking as if it's recorded in a public place, because it is indeed recorded in a public place. But it doesn't really take from it. So without further ado, episode number 4 of the Bant Express with Hayley McConaghy from Dark Oasis Studios. And yeah, so enjoy and peace out. Bye bye. Alright, we're at another episode of the Bant Express with me, Dan O'Keefe. Today I have a girl from Dark Oasis Studios, which is a game development company. Yep. Game development company. Her name is Hayley McConaghy. Thank you. I knew I should have given me 2 more seconds. I would have got it. And yeah, she is a female working in the game industry, and I just have her over here to talk about what it's like, why she decided to get into it, and in general, just her opinion on games and what games are like. And she's a cool person to talk to, so hopefully you'll enjoy the general conversation. So first off, Hayley, how or why did you decide to get into this industry?
Okay, thank you very much for having me, Dan. I guess I always liked games ever since my dad got me the PS1, I think,
nice.
In 2000, and I've just been playing games ever since. And art was always my main thing and what I was interested in, so I continued that on in school. I actually found it too structured in school, so I stopped doing art, which was really disappointing because that was something I loved. But I always continued to play games at home, which I was really only gamer friend in my group because I went to an all-girls school, so...
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I wouldn't say...
The sort home?
I wouldn't say I'm a tomboy physically, but what I do, I play a lot of sports and game and do art and...
See, as far as I'm concerned, that's a girl.
Yeah.
And a girl who's not a tomboy is a prissy girl.
Yeah?
Yeah, there's no reason why a girl can't do both and still be qualified as a woman and a girl, and feminine as well, There's something wrong with that. It's really weird how some girls seem that you have to be girly in order to be qualified as a woman. No you don't. You've ovaries, you're a woman. There you go. So yeah, don't feel ashamed about it. It's gone.
Yeah, that's... I played a lot of games for a while. I always had... I had the PlayStation 2. My favourite on that was Star Wars Battlefront. Played that
for my god, are you serious?
So much, yeah.
Oh god, that is the holy grail of the best Star Wars game I've ever played.
Oh, it's class.
It's just so exactly what all those kind of games should be, and
I still have the PS2 set up at home with Star Wars Battlefront because I play it still all the time.
Genius. I got it for the old Xbox when they brought it out, and I played the fuck out of that game.
And then
they're actually bringing out a new one, by the way.
Are they?
Yeah, by DICE.
Last one was a bit weird. Old Republic is a bit of a flop.
No, the new Battlefront, as in they're taking the old Battlefront mechanic and doing it the same, just with DICE.
Strange.
So they're going to
Interesting.
have the explodable ability of vehicles and stuff from, you get dynamic changes you get in Battlefield.
Yep.
Like the Battlefield games with all the structure and the scenery and everything like that. But it's doing that in the Star Wars world with the same Battlefront thing of you can be, after a certain amount of kills, you're then a Jedi and you can fucking cut shit up and all that shit. Like.
Oh, that's nuts. Yeah, I guess Star Wars was my favorite. Then I got a game called Ico, which is like this really weird indie game. It's the first sort of like quote unquote indie game I've ever played.
Yeah.
I guess it was by like a little boy. There was no dialogue in it whatsoever, and he has to rescue a girl from a castle, and like it's just really cool. The dynamics about it are really good.
Yeah.
And my TV at the time was actually so shit. All my games were in black and white.
Are you serious?
Yeah, and I played,
that's hardcore gamer right there.
I played Ico and I was like, oh, this is black and white. Oh, this must be like really deep and meaningful. And I plugged in the TV downstairs. Like, oh, it's meant to be color. I like it in black and white.
I say a game like that, actually, black and white really would actually add to the tone.
Yeah. So that was the first Limbo I ever played. Was that game style? Limbo was actually another.
Yeah, and
game.
I played Limbo.
Yeah.
That's a pretty game.
And then I got the Wii. Twilight Princess is the best, and that's probably the only good Wii game. And then I didn't get an Xbox until a couple of years ago, actually, the Xbox Elite, the sort of newish one that came out.
Oh, the Slim?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have one of them.
And I persuaded my friends to split Assassin's Creed Brotherhood for me for my birthday.
Oh, that's a
And
game.
like I was hooked on it. Like it was like I'd never played like an open world sandbox game before, so that was like pretty good for me.
Have you never played GTA before?
No.
Oh my Jesus Christ! You
I have the new GTA, but I never played it.
You never played the previous?
No, I never played it.
Oh
I
God,
said that
you're...
to my friend the other day, and he freaked out at me.
Oh wow! There's only certain kinds of you in the world. You're part of a really small collective of people. Holy shit! Have you played GTA 5?
Oh yeah, of course.
Did it blow your mind?
It blew my mind.
Oh yeah. The cool thing about that game is even people who played every other GTA, it still blew their mind.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
The good thing is it's a new story, so like you can pretty pick it up anywhere. It's
Yeah.
pretty good. Let's see. After Xbox, just have the Assassin's Creed series. The new one's not so great, in my opinion.
3.
You played it? Yeah. Or no, the
Pirates or
Yeah.
the Flag. I haven't
Black
played Black Flag. No, I don't. I bought it. Didn't download it. I bought it, and with money in a transaction, a legal transaction. Haven't played it yet. I've heard good things compared to the fact of how shit 3 was. Because I played 3, stopped playing it. It was vile.
yeah.
Especially since how amazing Brotherhood was. Is Black Flag not that good?
Is it like the naval combat from Revelations? It's like everyone loved that. It's like, oh, let's just make a whole game based around that. And like the naval combat is amazing, but the map is just like, obviously it's all islands because it's in make-believe Caribbean or something like that. But like it's just, there's nothing that hooks you on it like the other games. Like, it's
No
just not
solid
great.
story structure. Or...
No, I played it for a week and I haven't played it since. Like it's just there's no draw to it in my opinion.
I don't know how they make the mistake because Altair you kind of cared about, but you cared more about Desmond.
Yeah.
But you cared about Ezio. You were fucking in that story like to the maximum. That's disappointing.
Yeah.
Because I had a huge phase when I saw the Pirates of the Caribbean movies, Guilty Pleasures, and I was like, I totally want to be a pirate and just fuck shit up in the sea.
Yeah.
And I played the Pirates of the Caribbean game, which I'm a sucker for games of movies. That was atrocious. That was absolutely atrocious. So when I saw this came out, in fact you can actually like see a vessel in the distance and, you know, sail towards them and pirate them, or you can make a deal with them and then even fuck them over even more. I was like, oh, I can't wait to play this game. But I'm assuming it's short-lived though, the fun.
The pirating side to it as a mechanic is fucking amazing. It's just the story. There's just no. Like,
See, I need the story to
draw
give
on it, yeah.
more poignance to
Yeah.
the mechanic, you know?
But like, it's a bit GTA pirates. You can rob other ships and do up your own ships and stuff like that. But
So it's a bubblegum kind of thing. It's like, it's good
Yeah.
for enjoyment and stuff, but don't look for anything.
I think the battle sides of it are good, but the story is a bit crap from what I've played so far. I haven't finished it though. I've only played it. I have no draw to finish it. Maybe I'll do it one day when I'm bored.
Yeah, see, that's the mark that a game has failed. If you stop and you're like, oh, I've lost interest. Even if the mechanics are great, that's a huge failure in the game.
The best games I got recently were Dishonored and the new Tomb Raider game. They were my favourites. Amazing.
Yes, I just recently finished Dishonored, like really fucking recently. And because I started the file about 8 times and never finished it because I was playing, like, Hitman came out, and then I got Far Cry, and then Blood Dragon, which is fucking awesome. Jesus, that was for as simple as the mechanics are, and as, like, straightforward as it kind of is, the story's fucking really good. It's a lot deeper than I thought it was going to be, and I will say, if you don't are you a person who reads the papers and the notes and stuff you get? No. That's the thing. I read them, but even though I read them, I was like, I don't think you need to read these to still fucking get the points of the story.
Yeah.
And clearly, you don't.
I never read them as well.
And I like the way that there really is about fucking a million different ways you can play through it. Like, I'm curious to start it again and pick the opposite of the perks that I picked last time, just to see what kind of shit, kind of gameplay it is. Like,
I like games like that because you take your time with them and you think of like different ways you can get around without being seen at all, or you can just go ham and switch it up. But it's the game, I think you can die pretty easily in it if you don't use your abilities.
Yeah,
which is good because you don't want to just like button mash your way through.
No, yeah, that's if you don't have your abilities up good and you don't use them intelligently, it's really, really easy to get overwhelmed. Yeah. Really easy to get overwhelmed. But I just it's like you said, I really like that. A lot of games, I haven't played a game in a long time where I took my time. Yeah. And it made you take your time. You want to take your time. And I think if a game makes you pass a mission and go, no, or look at a criteria that you failed and go, no, whoa, I can do that, I can do this better, and cause you to delete that save and revert back to a previous save, that's a fucking good game.
Like, it's not even, like, the graphics are amazing in it. Like,
no, they're not. They're real fucking basic.
It's
like
average, but...
Well, it's UDK, so it's many, many browns.
There's, like, this constant feeling of dread in it, which is something that's good for a player to hold on to, because you're just kind of overthinking things. Yeah. And you take your time going around, like, one corner just in case someone's there, and they're like, oh, it's fine. But,
like, I like the fact that how you choose to go by the game in regards to killing people and stuff like that, and how you kill people affects the overall end story.
Oh yeah.
And like when I did it, I tried to be silent, but I just took too much enjoyment being a prick. Yeah. So I made sure every single person was dead, and nobody ever knew that somebody else had died. And I was a tyrant cunt. And by the end, it was like, you know, I can't say a spoiler, but the story does kind of go against you at some point. And I have a feeling that's only because you chose to do it that way, because they make specific why they went against you.
There's about 3 or 4 different endings of that.
Yeah, and then at the end, when the guy is talking at the very end, they'll renounce this day as a day a girl got back to the throne over piles of corpses by her murderous fucking possible father kind of shit. Yeah. Like, and I'm like, oh wow, that's really dark. Yeah. And she was a lovely little girl, and when at the very end, she's like, oh. Did you kill them? And it's like, yeah, I killed most of them. Good. Well, the rest of them that are alive, I'm going to kill them all. Yeah. I'm like, oh, I created a bitch out of this woman. Fuck, she's going to be twice as a tyrant as the other cunts. Oh, no. That's cool.
Was it Emily or something? She was a sweet little girl the whole game, and then you're just sort of there, and it's like sort of one of those uncle figures where you just look after her, and your aim is to get her back to the top. It's like, no. And then it just makes like all the bloodshed look like it's on
even
her
the
hands.
Dialogue, like when you walk back into a building one time after you rescue her, and she's like, hello Corvo, you killed a lot of people today, didn't you? I assumed you did. And she walks off, and you're like, what the fuck? You're a child, you shouldn't know about these things. But so you got heavily into the gaming when you got the 360 and shit. Was from that point, or in before that, were you kind of like you want to get into this industry anyway, or did you have to float around to realise?
I always liked games ever since like I was a little kid. My sister had Sega and Sonic and stuff like that, but it was never. Like, it was always something I enjoyed. Never something I thought I'd pursue as a career. Because the school I went to, it was a great school. Like it was very pushed for people to be like doctors, lawyers, very sort of like high class university type place.
Very academic.
But like I was always too relaxed in my approach to school. Like I didn't always do my work, wasn't always in on time. That's that sort of thing. And always go home, play games, not do my work.
Okay, you're fucking describing me. Yeah. This is weird.
Yeah, I always play games, and I'm not the smartest person. I did sort of average to good in my A-levels, which is your leaving cert. I did geography, media studies, and English. And media studies I really liked because I could talk about games in a school environment, which is weird. And like, oh no, you're making really good points about that. Like, and no one knew about gaming, and I was able to talk about what I knew. And,
cool.
Like, able to make, we had to make like fake posters in Photoshop and stuff like that for media studies as a project. And I just always do things to do with gaming and that as much as I could, rather than film. And like, that was the most sort of enjoyable, relaxed class. I was lucky I had a good teacher for that as well. He was pretty down to earth and like play games himself. So I think it's important for someone to encourage you about, like, he encouraged me so much, like, if you want to, like, you're really good in terms of games, maybe you should do something like that.
Yeah.
That was the first time I actually thought about doing something after college. Like, I was always going to go to art college in my head because that was what I enjoyed doing, but
you didn't really know where.
Yeah. After dropping art in school, I dropped it because I didn't enjoy the teacher and the way of studying. Like, you'd have to replicate other artists' work, and like there's just no freedom in it, which to me is what art is about. And I went to this university open day where loads of different universities in the UK and Ireland had little booths set up.
Yeah.
So they're just there to like draw students in, like tell them a little about the college. And that's where I found out about Pulse College, which is a music, film, and gaming course in Dublin.
Yeah.
And I was just like, instantly, I came home and I was like, Mum, this is what I want to do. And she's like, that's fine. Like, she thought it was strange that I go into something like gaming. Like, I find when you say to adults that, oh, I do gaming, they kind of do that lean head back and go, oh, that's okay. You play games? Like, no, I make games, it's fine. It's
and you get the follow-up, and what are you going to do after that?
Yeah.
You know, like, this is it.
Yeah.
I'm going to do this after this.
I find it's the same sort of reaction as a man telling someone he's a nurse rather than a doctor. It's like, oh, yeah, I'm a nurse. And they're like, that's nice. That's nice.
Yeah, it's like, that's nice.
Yeah.
You never want to hear that from someone.
To me, a girl playing games is like a guy in sort of a nursing profession, something like...
It is as abstract and as uncommon.
Yeah. So yeah, I went to Pulse College and I did the gaming course. And I loved it. Like, that's sort of where I'm at now. I'm finished with my course, and me and a couple of guys from college, we set up Dark Oasis Studios, which is where I work now, doing art. And yeah, we're working on our first game called The Everlast, so it will be out 2014 sometime.
Sweet.
Yeah.
And do you have a website or anything that they can?
Yes, darkoasisstudios.com. Our website's only just been set up and it's still being programmed at the minute and coded, so...
Alright, so don't go to it yet.
You can go on our Facebook page and we post some
Do you
stuff.
want me to upload this next week instead?
Yeah, do that. We can go to the Facebook page rather than our website. There's nothing on our website yet. But yeah, we're working in the Guinness Storehouse at the minute on the NDRC Launchpad, which is a business accelerate program.
That's right, yeah.
And
fair play getting into that.
yeah, we're pretty lucky. There's 5 other game companies in there and 11 IT companies. So it's nice to work in a gaming environment that's also businessy. So I feel like I'm learning businessy things as I go along rather than just, oh yeah, I make games, it's fun.
Little girl in the corner doing the drawings, like...
Oh, and also, it's nice actually seeing girls about the workplace, because in college I was the only girl in my course, which was strange as coming from an all-girl school.
How was that? How, like...
well, I went to an all-girl school straight into what felt like sitting in an all-boys school. Just like in the course there was one other girl and she dropped out halfway through the year. But I get along with the guys fine. Like, they're just like, I find the gaming community so welcoming, and like the lads are just so down to earth and have the chats, and it's kind of nice being the only girl because they don't treat me like I'm different with them. But I've noticed in general in the gaming industry with women, it's kind of like, oh my god, there's a girl there, why is she here? I bet she doesn't play games. Who is she with that's here? And then...
I mean, that must get annoying, in a sense. But do you get a bit of a comeback kind of thing when if you are, questioned about it or whatever, and you're like, well, actually, here's a crap load of information. Boom, I've just blown your mind.
Well, someone
Yeah.
someone asked me the other day, it's like, you play games? It was like one of my friends, and we were talking about games, and he's kind of looking at me the whole time like, what is she like bullshitting her way through this conversation? And then he asked me at the end, it's like, you actually play games? Like, you play games? Like, yes. I play games. This is all the games I play. Like, I'm amazing, look at me. And then,
what's your gamer score?
Oh, my gamer score's really shit.
Yeah.
I rarely play on the Xbox. Like, I'm a League of Legends fan, so I play.
Oh, you're a PCer. PC gamer.
Sort of. I'm not like a hardcore gamer. I play it sort of casually. I used to play it a lot ever since I started studying games. I've actually been playing them less. Yeah.
What the fuck is that?
I feel like I appreciate so much what people do, but now I can see how they do it. It's kind of like, it's not as overwhelmingly exciting when you see something that's modeled a bit weird and like textured funny.
Or you're playing a game and you're like, this is shit.
Yeah.
I know how to do this. And you've had a team with thousands. No, this is insulting.
Yeah. That actually happened when I was playing GTA, the newest one. Driving along.
Before you speak, heed what you say when you're gonna insult GTA or Rockstar.
Why is that?
Because they're like they're allowed to make mistakes because they're that consistently bitching.
Oh no, like it was grand. Like
I'm only messing.
I was driving along in the car and I was going through a couple of hedges. Like you could just go through them obviously because they're hedges in the game. And one of them obviously had like a rigid body on it, so you just like smacked right that hedge like a brick wall. Oh, it's funny.
Yeah, no, there are some things in the Grand Theft Auto games that one is just you're gonna have those kind of things when you're building something that's so dynamic.
They're allowed to. It's such a big map.
And other things, I can't help but think. Even since I was a kid, it was like they wrote that into the program to be dickheads.
Yeah.
It's called the asshole GTA physics, and like stuff like you're driving along on a bike for ages. You're cruising to a deadly tune, and you're really in the moment. And for some reason, a car just moves out of his lane, only enough to knock you off your bike going 110 miles an hour, so you die. When all you want to do is get a haircut. And that's GTA logic right there. I'm feeling they code that shit in. Just be this random interval to like do things like that, like. Especially in GTA 4 when they started doing the ragdoll, and if you get bumped by a car, he'd like really slowly fall. But by the time he fell, the waiting period on the car to move again has ticked over. So the car fucking drives over you, and you're like, I'm dead. Great, I have to start that mission from the very beginning, and I did it awesomely, and I died because I slipped on a curb. This is bent. But it added to the fun as well. But that must have been really like hard to like plant your feet. As in going from the girls' school and feeling that you were kind of not on the same wave, and then before you became mates with people in the college, and you said being the only girl, did it take a while for you to actually fully settle in, or once you came to the college you were kind of like, oh, this is my world, and were you just from the get-go?
It was instantly like just being in that environment where you can talk to people about sort of things that, like, gaming is just such a casual thing. Even like everyone plays games, so you just there's always something to talk to someone about.
Yeah.
But I forgot what I was trying to say now. I mean, everyone was supportive in my family of me doing that, even though they thought it was a bit strange.
Yeah.
And like they see where I'm at with it now, and they're like, "I'm glad you did something you like," which is something I always need to do, because if I do something I don't like, I don't do it well.
Yeah.
And I just don't put time into things I don't like. Whereas this, I really enjoyed, and it's something I wanted to do. So I moved out from Belfast to do that.
Sweet.
Yeah. So it was good.
That's mad. I thought you wouldn't move from Belfast down to here to do it. I thought England would have a decent scene going for games.
I think there probably is other bigger gaming courses down there, but I never wanted to go too far from home. Like, it's literally only 2.5 hours in the train.
That's true, yeah.
And also, I was just so drawn to the course there and what they did that I really fucking wanted to go there, so I did. And
we're glad to have you here.
Yeah, like Queen's University in Belfast is one of the biggest ones, and I looked at their gaming course, and it's really just math and physics based. Like, I'm shit at math, and don't even talk about physics.
I'm shit at math. Although I love physics.
Yeah. Like, if it's all done like JavaScript or something stupid like that, just math-based. No art. Their art was shit.
Are you a coder at all?
No.
No.
No, I'm a terrible coder. I just stick to the art side of things. I enjoy working in a team of people, so that's grand. Other people better at coding than me.
I found JavaScript a lot harder to learn, I think, than C#. But I think a lot of it has to do with the lecturer you have, who teaches it to you as well.
Possibly.
Because when I started off, the lecturer we had, I didn't realise till after, because I had to repeat my course, or that particular module. Like, he was terrible. He was terrible.
Yeah.
He was ugly. Which he was really, really good at coding. He can write his own shit.
Yeah.
But I found out, like, from a dude who was helping me from a year ahead. He was actually working at GDC. He came over to help me with another mate, and he was like, "Are you using this?" Yeah. So he's been doing this for 3 years. He's been using this thing as his project.
Yeah.
That's not even his. And he showed me the website where he got it from some other dudes, like, write up and everything like that with a shitty controller with real hack JavaScript.
Yeah.
And it was like fucking Chinese. No matter how much I learned it, I just couldn't fucking get it. Like,
Yeah.
but just from getting actual mates to teach me little things and showing me really simple shit with C#,
Yeah.
it stuck a bit more. But still, I'm barely able. Like, I can write a general idea for a code that I want. Someone else will then go, "I see what you're trying to do here. Fix it for me." And then I'll go, "Well, I know what that and that does. Rand."
Yep.
And that's it. That's pretty much the depth of my ability to code. Like,
Yeah, our programmer teacher, he wasn't the most confident of guys. Like, he was very quiet, and like, we had what he was doing on the projector, and he just went through it so fast that you're like, okay, I know what none of that means. I know what it's meant to do, but I don't know why you've written that specifically. And like, I mean, code probably is a hard thing to teach in general, but like, you just need to go through it very, very slowly.
I think it's one of those things that a lot of people who teach it, they don't know enough about it themselves.
Probably.
And I think it's one of those things, kind of like maths, that you know the difference when you have a teacher who does maths and a teacher who fucking loves maths. And that teacher's always able to get across even the most complicated shit to a way that you can understand.
Yeah.
And I think it's Richard Feynman, is a quote from him, like, you don't understand something. If you can't explain it to a 10-year-old, if you can explain it to a 10-year-old and he can understand it, then you can say you fully understand something. But until you can break it down to that level, you don't. And I think for something as demanding as code is, and how much where it seems to be with code, like when you're going down to the sea and it's like, oh, it's really shallow, it's up to my feet, oh, it's a bit past my feet, bang, now it's up to my shoulders. You're like, what the fuck, where did this come from? And it's such a drastic shift, like, that when you have a teacher who's kind of a class ahead of you, or 2 classes ahead of you, it's like, this ship is going nowhere, man. You're rowing twice backwards and once forward here, like.
When you enjoy something, you're able to explain it, something like simplify it. Whereas if you understand something, but just literally through the book, you don't understand why that's the answer. You just understand that's how you get it.
Yeah, you have to have a bit of both. Like, there's like one of the lecturers, he understands code. And he's good enough. Like, he's better than most of us, except for, like, I think there's 1 or 2 in the class who are miles better than him, but that's because they're just fucking amazing coders.
Yeah.
He's decent enough, like. But whatever it is, when he explains stuff, he'll explain something, what a code does, using the words in that syntax. He's like, transform dot position means to transform that dot position of said game object. And you're like, can you just say transform dot position is what gives a thing movement?
Yeah.
Because to me, that's understandable, you know? And like, he was doing something else, and I was like, so if I was using that in the system of, like, for, like, difficulty settings, so if I was to change the difficulty, everything would be under the same parameters, but all the, no, stop thinking difficulty settings, stop thinking this code can be used for so many different things. It was like, yes, but I can't take fucking heads or tails of what you're saying unless I have some kind of parameters I can wrap my head around, like.
Yeah, that's true.
And he was like, well, you're learning the wrong way, and I just... I'm not going to get into an argument, because the fact that he said that, I was like, you can't tell someone that they're learning wrong. That's not how it works, like.
Did you say one of your friends works at GDC?
Yeah, he's working in GDC at the moment. Oh my god. He's not working for Riot, but he's doing something under a subsidiary of Riot, I think.
Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure, but I know at the moment they're working on a really cool kind of League of Legends kind of style, but slightly different game.
Oh, was he on one of the courses that the interns go to Riot to work on something?
No, he finished last year, and him and I think 3 lads from the course went into the GDC, and I don't know enough information about it. Shit. Because they were doing a project in class, and then loads of things from that project they realised they could actually implement into a much better, much cooler game. So they pitched that idea, and then they got grants from GDC to work there.
So did they get to go to GDC?
Pardon?
He's going to GDC this year
then? He's working there. Oh, since all of this year, yeah, he's pretty much after. I think during the summer. He was probably going in there anyway, just like because he's one of those guys. He's at every game jam. He's at all those kind of things. Like, and he might have been doing random stuff anyway. And then from being there, he then was able to get a proposition to like actually show his shit. And they're like, yeah, cool, we'll fucking help you do that. I think he started off doing work for other things. Yeah. And he's doing work for them at the moment as well as they're now doing their own little fucking endeavour as well. Yeah. Cool. And 2 lads from my class are going over and helping them and stuff, which is really cool for them, except for the fact that on the other spectrum, they're never in. Yeah. And when they are in there, the thing they're doing, they've actually got really good work done. Yeah. But from a lecturer's point of view, they can only be so fair, you know? So, and they're good guys, and I like them. So that's why I need someone to seem like, yeah, dude, you should come to class more. Yeah.
If you're not in, you still do good work. It's a bit like, you did that, and it's really nice, but I can't grade you well because you're never in my class.
It's like one of the things the lecturer was saying today was, he's like, instead of the big thing we have to do at the end of the year, it's going to be a fucking thing like that thick, big folder. And I was like, shit one for the person who's to correct all this. Yeah. And he's like, no, the examiners come in and they'll take a general look, and based on what I think, then they'll say, oh, okay, grand, okay. And I was like, oh, so you have to read them? He's like, I'm not fucking reading them. Yeah. You best be in class. And this is why I said it's good not to save it for the very end to do all your write-ups, because I'll be coming around in class as you're doing your shit and as it grows, and that will be me correcting you. Yeah. And then I'll know how, because by the end of the day, I'll know how you got there and what you were doing, you know? So I have a much better idea of it. He's like, I couldn't grade, it wouldn't even be fair, because by the 4th one in, I'd be like, don't care, and I can't make them fail. It's just be
you really get novel 20 times over. You don't want to do that.
Just get someone else. Just write pass on all of these pages, and I'll give you a $5. The things people will do for a quick $5. What?
You look like you're thinking, what did I do for a quick $5?
Oh, what I do for a quick $5? I don't know. I'm a dick. I tend not to do shit for people for money. I'll do stuff if I think people need help, but I don't like being someone's lackey.
That's true. Most people do.
Then again, I do need money a lot.
Yeah. Actually, working in the gaming industry, to me, it feels like you rarely have to work under someone. Like, everyone's very sort of collaborative in their approach to things.
Yeah.
I guess, well, obviously, I'm in a startup company, so there's only 7 of us. It all just feels like you're working together rather than someone saying, do this, do that, work this way.
There's a lot more synergy in it. Like, it's one of those things as well that it's one thing it's greater than the sum of its parts, but each part has to be in sync and relative to each other. Yeah. So, for the most part, you're kind of you're setting yourself a problem when you do something like Infinity Ward or Activision or EA, where they literally are like, you will make this. Shut up, do this, on this day, it has to be there or you're fired. Yeah. Don't talk to anyone, don't care about anyone, just get it done. Yeah. And then everyone does their own separate fucking thing in their own little window and their own little cubicle. Machine. Yeah, loads of little machine, 1,000 monkeys on 1,000 typewriters, essentially. And what they do is they constantly bring out the same shit that has billions of holes in it, like billions. I can't believe Call of Duty still get away with releasing a game and the online being the predominant thing. It doesn't work. Like, the amount of fucking glitches and fuck-ups finding matches and everything. Like, I don't play it personally anymore, but even still, I don't like the arsery of you release a game, it's not working properly. Within a week, there's now new map packs. Yeah. And for the most part, the odd few people will buy those map packs, they won't continue patching the old levels because they want people to buy the map packs. And people say, oh, get new map packs, man, they work much better.
Yeah.
And people buy those new map packs, and then if you're late to the fucking show and someone else has bought a new set of map packs, doesn't matter how much you've been playing the others, no one's playing those map packs anymore. So you gotta move on and get your shit done quickly, because in another 7 months there's another Call of Duty, you know. And it's like, fuck, like, give it a rest.
I was at the Xbox One tour, and there were lots of people playing.
Wow.
It wasn't WoW.
It wasn't not.
No, it wasn't WoW.
Were you expecting it to be WoW?
Yeah, I was expecting something exciting, and it was just.
It was disdain in your voice.
Yeah, I mean, I won free tickets from out of a raffle thing online, and it wasn't great. They just had a lot of Xbox Ones set up with TVs, headsets, and basically just play their new games. And I was playing. Oh fuck! I forget what it's called. It was like a Street Fighter.
It's fucking really, really loud in here. Really loud in here. Like really loud in here all of a sudden. Yeah, I didn't think it'd be this fucking busy. I don't know if it'll have to be picked up. Fuck. Do you know of any other place that's quiet? Quieter. Because earlier on when we came here, that was fine.
Yeah.
That was perfect.
I don't know.
Shit, it's a bad time. Nah, screw it. We'll just continue. I just have to spend a lot more time on it.
I was playing this game. It was like Street Fighter. It was a remake of an old arcade game, and I forget what it's called. It's something like Instinct.
Killer Instinct.
That's it. Yeah, I was playing that.
Oh, what a game!
I was playing that, and he was like, "Yeah, it's going to be free to play, download on our marketplace on the Xbox One." And I was like, "Grand, that's awesome."
Nice.
And he's like, "But you only get these 3 characters, and if you pay 50 quid, you can make them look better, and you get all the other characters too, and you can play the story." It's like, okay, so I can play a demo for free, but I have to pay 50 quid for a free game?
Okay.
Yeah.
If they just said the game is 50 quid, but you get a free demo, okay, I now understand. But you can't say it's a free game with dick all.
Yeah.
So you gotta pay a full game price to actually make it work. They don't get the campaign.
Yeah.
Fuck!
Or it's something like that, like you can only get like the first couple of levels, and you have to pay to basically play the game properly.
Fuck Xbox, man. Its monetization is going to kill the gaming industry.
Yeah.
And it only worked at the beginning with apps and Facebook because it was a new thing. And it's already dying for the most part. And the fact that they've adopted what is already dying on social media and Android stuff into the next gen development of software, especially when it's so close to a PC, people are less afraid about buying a PC now. And the Steam box is coming out, which is essentially a PC without the dick that a console has to slow it down. And I know that there is the benefit to dedicated graphics and memory solely for games, but that's what the Steam box will be.
Yeah.
And the Steam box is working itself to be literally like its own Netflix in a sense, that you can have it on your fucking TV as your normal TV player kind of shit, which will have all the other stuff on it as well.
They were really pushing
and it's
Netflix
open source of the stuff you can add on to it. For a lot of the stuff that as long as you can get it on an online thing, it doesn't have to have had a contract with Microsoft to be allowed, play. Like if you have a different, let's say you don't use Netflix, you use something different. Well, Xbox only has Netflix, so that's the only thing you can fucking use on it. Whereas Steambox allows you, if it's something you can have on one of those phone to app kind of things, then you can use it on Steambox as well.
Yeah. My friend was like, "Oh, you know, like the new Xbox One does Netflix." And I was like, "The Xbox I have now also has Netflix."
Yeah.
Really? They've been really selling it. Like,
and the new Sky Player, the Xbox I have has Sky Player and everything else, and a shit YouTube.
All devices are just trying to become a little bit of everything. Like, I don't know what it's going to be like in about 10 years.
It's weird because at the moment as well, we still have TV is still holding on, which it's very, very obvious that it's dying.
Yeah.
And shows are now going off general TV and are liking more the online TV shows.
Yeah.
Or TV things like Netflix and TiVo and shit like that. TiVo has stopped doing just the Digibox and there's now an online service as well. Hulu Plus and all that shit.
I think also as people grow up, they've been growing up with like more digital things as younger adults, and like they just keep them in with an older bring them with them into their older lives and just like obviously my mom's really shit at computers and she would watch TV. She doesn't understand about watching things online.
Yeah.
And like that's fine for her, but like when I'm her age, I'll probably be, I don't know if I'll even have a TV. I'll probably just be watching things online, or you don't know what you're going to be like when you're older. Like everyone just has their own devices that they know how to work and they can watch everything.
What you're accustomed to, your comfort zone kind of thing. It's but like I think a good outlook or possible outlook of what like the future holds in a sense. When I was sick, I brought my PC downstairs. Now I wish I had 2 PCs, but I need a PC upstairs because I cannot work in my sitting room. Oh my god, it's the PC in the living room is the ultimatum. Like there's nothing that's better than that. Everything else that you can think of is pointless. Because if you're like, oh well, an Xbox, you know, I want the controller. Yeah, I have a fucking attachment. I have an Xbox controller to play any game I have on the PC. I have every channel, everything. If I don't have the channel and I'm like, oh, there's a fight that's only stream online, I can watch it in H-fucking-D with my TV. And it's bitching like with full sound system. I don't see the point of consoles or digiboxes when you just have a fucking PC. And I think all it has to get to is the standard home stuff to get more and more and more close to a PC till some kind of amalgamation of companies just go, fuck it. Fuck it. PlayStation, do PCs now.
Like Owen Harris, one of my lecturers, is just, he's sort of like everyone's friend.
That's badass, by the way, that your lecturer is like the man from Bitsmith. That's like a really fucking cool thing about Pulse, like.
Owen Harris is a great guy. He's everyone's friend in the gaming industry, and like we've been pretty close. Just as the guys from college, like we still hang out with him even though we're done with our course now. And he has his TV with his computer plugged in the TV as a monitor, and the consoles, everything. So it's really just this central hub of computer, console, TV.
Nice.
In the middle. It's just what you need and want. Like if you have just your monitor for everything, you don't need to have your laptop and then your desktop and then your TV and console separate. Like
no, it's a space saver. First off, it just saves loads of space. It's probably the most energy efficient.
Yep.
Like by far, and I found out as well. Like it's cheaper, way cheaper, if I just leave my computer on with like Max just running in the background, than put the heating on in my bedroom. My room is warmer, and it's like fucking no cost. Because it's the components themselves that get hot. It's not the electricity making them hot, so you're not being charged for that. And so basically, cut down the heating, everyone get a bitchin' PC, and just run shit on it in their house. Although I will say, carpets, man, you gotta hoover the fuck out of your PC so often. I have a huge problem with my PC. I probably should get a bigger power supply, because I'm running 640 on something that should probably take 900 watts. So that's probably the main reason. But the carpet as well, like anything that builds up just gets stuck, obviously in the carpet. And I have my thing which pulls air from in front of it, which is dust from the carpet, and fires it into its system. Like so every once in a while, like here on my fan, you can hear it starting to go off to space. And like it's building up to leave orbit. And I look down and I just rub my hand at the fan and like, ew. Right, turn that off, anti-static bracelet. Hoover, really, really careful not to suck up any soldering pits or anything like that. Like most part, I just like drill it around the fan loads. Like, but I have to get a new power supply. It's fucking expensive.
I wish I had a high-powered gaming PC. One, I don't have the money for it. And two, don't really have anywhere to put it at the minute. But like, I'd love a good gaming PC. I just run everything off my MacBook. Which
Macs are beasts, man.
I love my MacBook, like especially because I play League of Legends on it, and it's the one with the Retina display, so it's like
nice.
So pretty. I feel like I'm in the game.
There's something about Mac that like everything works really cohesively well together. It's not monetized. It's whatever the word I'm looking for is that I can't think of. Really, really well. Like, and it's not as haphazard as a PC.
Yeah, there's a lot of synergy between.
That's the word, synergy. It's really nice for that shit. Like I have to say, I was happy the day I found out that because I always thought I was like, there's no way the people who make the iPhone and the iPad and people who make Apple PCs are the same fucking developing people. There's no way. Yeah, they're not. Which I was happy to find out. Because like I had a feeling that the iPhone and tablet is inferior as fuck compared to what's in a MacBook or like the PC versions of the Macs. Like
Mac stuff may be expensive, but everything's just so sleek and like the performance is uncomparable.
Optimized to the max,
Yeah.
like
I got the one with the retina display. Like I saved up so hard for that because obviously just doing art, it's easier to work on with colors and everything just looks so much fucking sexier. And like playing League of Legends on my MacBook compared to my friend's computer, it doesn't have the retina display. You can really notice the difference in it. It's like the brightness is turned halfway down or something like that. It's just wow.
there's one of the things I've noticed though when you have a super clear lovely monitor is I got myself a bitchin' monitor, really good deal as well. It was got off dabs.ie and they have a used section which is not like used by people. Used is like when they bring the stock into their warehouse, they could test one from the big bulk to see if it works, and that's the used. They can't sell it normal anymore. So I got it for like 90, reduced from 170. But it's beautiful LED, really nice TV, and 3D TV, which is pointless because I have no fucking glasses. Dude, the amount of times I look at movies and shit and like, fuck, I can see the grain. I can see the grain in so much shit, like, and pixels show up so much more, so you can tell. Now I know the difference in good graphics and good shaders.
Yeah.
Now I really tell the difference, like, and it's like, if I want, I downloaded Tor, and it was really grainy for something that's supposed to be so clear. To get it so it's like super clear so I can see it perfectly and it's real bright, it's like an 8 gig to 10 gig fucking size file, like. That's the only problem with those super fucking clear TVs and super clear monitors.
Even I have my Mac partitioned so I can use Windows on it.
Oh,
and
nice.
I think even the Windows operating system dims down the quality, even though it's still on the same MacBook. It's just like, no, we're not going to work, no.
Yeah, Windows is... People forget that Windows was meant to be... The whole point of Windows was you don't have to be a geek to use a computer.
Yeah.
That was the whole point of Windows, and it will always stay in that kind of stapleton of technology. Now, as people move on and are more custom technology, that's when we see the improvements and the extra shit we can do.
Yeah.
But it's still meant to be very much... anyone can just pick it up and use it.
Yeah.
Which is ironic because the iPhone is meant to be that, but a Mac is not the same. A Mac is harder to learn than a PC. It's not as straightforward at all.
When I was younger, we were quite late to get a computer in our house, and my dad, he works with Macs in work, so we got an eMac, which is like one of the big old bubble ones.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So with the colour clear at the back and you can see the interiors. Yeah. Oh, I've always wanted one of them, man.
People turn them into fish tanks now.
Genius.
Yeah. I mean, we had one of them, and I was like, oh no, this is stupid, you got an Apple computer, like, everyone uses Windows, this is the worst thing ever. But, like, I was upset about that for a while. And it was, like, so weird to use, like, all the buttons look different and everything. But I guess, like, I was just younger at the time, and that was new to me.
I don't like change.
And it was rough. That was when the whole, like, Windows Mac pretend war was going on.
Yeah, the pretend war, because at that time no one knew that they were both mates sitting down having coffee together going, ha, these people are idiots. It's actually a great section of pictures of them in an interview, and one of them is a first picture of Jobs turning around to Bill Gates and he's like, Bill, do you remember when you were poor and had no money? And then it cuts down to Bill and he's like, no. And it cuts down back to the bottom and the two of them are both laughing. Me neither. But I have to say, it's really weird. I've noticed in the gaming industry that some of the most iconic games that I can think of happened in a really small window of like 10 years of when I was younger. And in this stage now, they seem to be really far apart. And they don't seem to last even as long in the domain as the other shit. Which
I was actually thinking about that today, and I was like, there's just, like, you know when people say like, oh, there's no good games anymore, like these are the classics. But then I think about maybe it was because I was younger at the time, and this is like super new. Like it's not like even my niece now, she's 2, and she plays games on my sister's iPad, like she's just used to that, but like when I was younger, you don't have that, and then you have it, and it's like fucking amazing. And also because I was younger, everything seemed harder because I wasn't able to do it as well.
Yeah.
And then I think, oh my god, I felt like I had that game for like years and couldn't get past it. Like, and I'm pretty sure it was because I was younger and everything was more wow, and like the imagination factor was like 100%.
That's true, yeah.
And now, like, it's just, you're used to that, and you're spoilt for a standard of quality that nothing seems good enough to what you want, and you don't really know what you want until someone hands you a game that you just fall fucking in love with.
Yeah.
Whether you're a type of person that's into how detailed the graphics are, or like a simple game that's just mechanics driven, that's really difficult, but just it's fun to play because it's difficult and you can best yourself in what you do.
That's a good point, and I suppose in the old days, and whenever I say the old days, I literally think of Nintendo 64.
Yeah.
I just think that was the birth of the 3D, and that was the birth of the whoa.
Yeah.
What are these worlds?
Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong, I love Super Mario Brothers, and like I got my first Super Nintendo. That was the best Christmas I've ever had in my life, and I got the Star Wars game with it as well. Return of the Jedi blew my childish mind to pieces. It was amazing. And I love the shit out of it, but the most iconic, like, really impactful experiences was on the 64. Man, it took them fuckloads longer to make a game back then.
Yeah.
Fuckloads longer. And there weren't many people doing it as well. And it cost a lot more.
Yeah.
So that definitely added to the fact why there wasn't so much, and why people were going to endeavour in it. They would make sure that this is the be all and end all, and
because there wasn't such a big variety.
Exactly.
You fucking loved the ones you had. Like when we had the Sega, we had Sonic on it, and that's like I was really young at the time. It was my older sister's. That was the only game I remember her ever having on that. I'm sure she had loads, but I was like, wow, it's so cool. But like it was pixely as hell. And like I thought it was the most amazing thing that you can control something that's on the TV, whereas like kids can think everything's touchscreen now. Like when he goes up to the TV and it's like touch it, it's like no, it doesn't do that.
Fucking Connect, man. You don't even need a controller. You can just move around. Like it's so weird.
The problem with games and moving things like the Kinect and the Wii is like, let's face it, everyone's just lazy as fuck. You have it and then you never play it.
Yeah.
It's like I'd rather sit down than wave my arm around playing Wii.
Here's the thing: I have no problem with being physically active, but the fact of the matter is, it's a chore.
Yeah.
To be physically active when you're playing a game because you're not able to be natural with it.
Yep.
I think until we actually get genuine virtual reality.
Oh yeah, totally.
That will be the difference. Until then, these are serious baby steps.
You're aware you're standing in your living room, waving your arms around, and your character is only waving one arm, and it's not working properly, or something stupid like that.
Plus, there's the whole thing of like, when you're playing a game with the controller, stand to reason, your entire peripheral vision is then enveloped, and you're sucked in, and even you're seeing 3D view of the world you're in, and you're not even paying attention to what you're doing with your hands. But when you're looking at something that has all these annotations and signs, and you have to make sure your hand lines up with these particular things and all this stuff, that's where it completely disconnects you from the experience whatsoever.
Yeah.
And I think the Oculus Rift, considering having tried it, wow, it's a fucking leap.
Yeah,
like,
definitely.
Wow, I didn't think it would be as much of a ability to trick your body, your entire body and your senses as it did. I didn't think by manipulating one sense, it actually, on toll, takes everything else with it. I was really surprised. Like, you do get that, you know when you're on a plane, you get that turbulence room, when the plane goes up and down, you get that in your stomach. You do actually get that.
Yeah.
And I tell you one thing, it's fucking disorienting.
Yeah.
Because I was playing Half-Life, and I was ground when I was driving, and I was ground when I was moving, and I was ground when I was shooting.
Yeah.
But when I had to swim and look, and then grab on, and then get my gun, and move around and look, and aim and shoot at the same time, and do all this stuff, I literally just, like, I don't get dizzy. I've never fainted. But I got a big, like, whoa. I think this is what vertigo is. I think that's what people get. Whoa.
It's like when you walk down the stairs in the dark and you missed the last one.
Yeah.
And then you sort of freak out for a second.
Yeah.
You realise you're sort of fully immersed in this sort of fake sense of danger that you have to adapt to.
It's I think the only reason why it's disorientating is because you're still using a mouse and a keyboard.
Yep.
So when you do choose to use your actual senses and you don't get a proper ability to turn and move, you're like,
The Oculus, I don't think it's Oculus Rift people that are doing it, but some developer, I saw a video, they're making this thing, and it's like this special concave sort of floor thing you walk on for the Oculus Rift.
That's right,
and you have these special shoes which you just basically pace on it and the ground moves below you like a static treadmill. It just it slips away. And
it's roller though, it's all angles, isn't it?
So you can walk around within this, I think it's like half-meter circular radius, and I think it is to do with the Oculus Rift. I think it's really strange, but no one's ever going to get one of these big fuck you things to sit in the middle of their living room just so they can play virtual reality.
Yeah. No, I do know that. I haven't told, but you can customize and optimize it. Like, so you can have it so as you're playing the game. Let's say you're in your bedroom, and you have a seat, whatever, and you're playing the game, and that's you standing and walking and moving with your controller. And you can have it so when you've moved onto your bed, that is the function for you to get into a car.
Yeah.
So as in, you walk up to a car, you move onto your bed, that's equivalent to pressing Y. So now you've gone into the car, and then you're sitting on your bed, and you go, and that's you in the car. And then when you want to get out of the car, you get out of your bed, and your character, it's the same as pressing Y to get out of the car. Like
my bed's a race car.
Yeah, exactly. My bed's a race car.
It's one of the Simpsons.
Oh, what the fuck was that in?
Millhouse's dad. He says,
"Thank you.
I sleep in a race car."
Where do you sleep? I sleep in a big bed with my wife. That's fucking right. Oh, and the place where all the divorced dads go. I'm just innocent Homer. I sleep in a big bed with my wife. Oh, right. Shouldn't say the wife word around here. Oh. But, I think after buying a Kinect, being unbelievably pissed off at the Kinect, and it's not connected to my 360 anymore. It's upstairs in the box. Because it's a piece of shit. To the point that my nephews come over and like, can you play that game? No, it's broken. It doesn't work anymore. I don't want to play it. It's a pile of shite. And the games are atrocious.
Yeah.
They're absolutely atrocious. They didn't even do any credit by trying to get good games.
When I got the Xbox, it came with the Kinect Sports and Dance Central. The Dance Central one was pretty good, but it's the type of thing you'd only play if, like, for a laugh, if you've got a few mates around, or you wouldn't really play it by yourself.
Or with one other person.
Yeah. Like,
watch me dance! Sorry.
Yeah, that was about it. I think my Kinect's just sitting below my TV up in Belfast, probably covered in kids' yogurty fingers or something. That's up there.
I have to say, a good Guitar Hero was fucking class.
Yeah.
I think they were games that did not get the credit they deserved in the long run. I think they're fucking awesome, and I play guitar, and I still to this day like playing Guitar Hero. Because it's fun and it's good crack.
I find it a bit weird. Like, I play guitar myself, and I find playing Guitar Hero. You're like, oh, you have to be good at this. You play guitar. It's like, it's not a guitar though. It has 4 buttons.
In the words of Slash, when he was doing his thing, like, does it translate well? Translate. I got my ass kicked by a 10-year-old 5 times in a row on a song I wrote. No, it doesn't translate well. I was like, holy shit, that's awesome.
Yeah.
It says a lot as well, because like Slash is an amazing guitarist, and he can't play the game. He's like, no, I got my ass handed to me.
Crazy.
It's not gonna improve, and I think it's a silly effort to pump money into it.
Yeah.
For what it is.
I really wish people in the gaming industry would just accept their franchise is dying and move on to make something bigger and better. Like, there's always going to be like 2 Call of Duty games every year. But
really squeezing blood from the stone, aren't they?
Yeah. I mean, like, I'm so glad Halo's done with Microsoft contract now, because they're going on to make Destiny, which I don't know if it will be good, but there's a lot of fucking hype about it, and it looks good.
Here's the thing. I think it will be beautiful because Halo had this spark. It had something in it that everybody attached to at the beginning that got lost in the end, which 343 revived in Halo 3 and Reach, or Halo 4 and Reach. But it's something that Microsoft strangled the fuck out of.
Yeah,
and I think those guys have that spark still there, and they're trying to get it out in Destiny.
They made that game and they're like, fuck, this is amazing, like, this is awesome. And they realised, oh, you have a 10-year contract with them. oh, they want another game. This is like, oh, it was good, like, just let it die, but they've had to drag out other games from it, and it's just...
Like, in Halo 2, there wasn't much of a difference with Halo 1 except for the graphics. What made the difference was the online.
Yeah.
Because it came out on the... was it on both consoles first? The 360 and the normal Xbox, or was it just for the 360?
I think it was just the 360.
Fuck, I can't remember.
I'm pretty sure you could play...
No, Halo 2 was a normal Xbox still, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And they improved the online a lot, and that's what became... What's actually... The online was done so well that people still play Halo 2 on PC.
Yeah.
Like, it's really, really popular. And I think they did go with that, and then as you said, they still had the contract, and they obviously... Because they cared less, more business heads got more of a say, and you can feel it in Halo 3.
Yeah.
That it looks a lot prettier for a very obvious reason, you know, and there were good aspects in it, but as a whole, it just fucking failed miserably, like. And the same with ODST. But I think...
ODST was terrible.
Yeah, I think the part that broke it for me was when you're Master Chief, you can take a turret.
Yeah.
And that was the whole thing, because of the Master Chief, a normal Marine can't do that, right?
Yeah.
When you're an ODST, not only can you take a turret, you fucking walk faster than the Master Chief.
Yeah.
And you're human, you're normal humans. Like, this is... I was expecting a Die Hard
It's
thing.
like they've copied and pasted just basically all of the mechanics into it to make this short game. Like, it felt like, you know the Crash Bandicoot games where you go into little portals and you have your own little world? It was like that, where it was based around that central street city area and you went into different areas of it.
Which was shit, because the ambience and stuff that was actually put in the game was really cool. Like, really vacant streets, and you didn't really know what the fuck was around the corner. And then you can go around the corner and there'd be like 20 dudes and like hunters, like 2 or 3 hunters, and you're like, fuck. But for the most part, though, yeah, it just got really weak really quickly.
It's cool.
And no, you're right. I think you're saying that like they're strangling a lot of the stuff that they're doing, and they should really just realize some shit is dead.
Yeah.
And it was a good idea to turn. That's why Peter Molyneux left, because he was like, oh, so the Kinect they weren't doing what I actually thought they were going to do with it. They didn't really listen to anything I said, and Fable has gone to shit. So I'm bailing. And he bailed. Rightly so, because like, I'm not going to be the whooping boy for all the abuse. I want it known right now that I'm bailing for this reason. Like
guy, I forget the guy's name, but he was in talking to us the other day in the NURC, and he was just like, you need to know when what you're doing is shit and it's not going to work. Like, there's only so much you can polish a turd, but it's still always going to be a turd.
Yeah.
And you just need to like learn to let go and scrap again, which with gaming is something you learn from like the first project you do. At the time you're like, oh my god, I made that game, it's amazing, and you look back at it in a few months time like, that was shit, like I could do so much better. But you need to be aware that the more you keep doing projects, the more you'll become better at game developing and art, anything really.
Yeah, it's perseverance, it's experience and perseverance.
Like, there may be so much hype about someone's game, but it's always going to be shit to what they do next, because as developers you learn so much from developing. So.
It's one of the few kind of genres, along with books, it's one of the few genres where the sequel, for the most part, is predominantly better than the first, which is not the same for movies. For the most part, for movies, the original is always the best, you know?
Quality-wise, the only thing you have to worry about is like getting a good story to go along with it as well.
Yeah. Like, it's easy to say that every Bethesda game has been leaps and bounds ahead of the previous one, like, you know? Although I think they're ruining it by Skyrim Online. I just think that Skyrim was what it was, or Bethesda games are what they were, because it was you in this beautiful world, and it was your story, that you could change things any way you want. If you wanted online, you fucking play online games.
Yeah.
You play, if you want an MMO, you play an MMO, which is dedicated to being an MMO. I think they're crossing swords, and I don't think it's not translating well. It's not getting half as much of the
you can
as
tell
people
when
thought
people
it
are
was.
just milking the franchise for all they're worth. Like, fucking Angry Birds, it's on everything, and they have a theme park.
They've a what?
They have a theme park, so I can't
Oh
remember.
my god.
Yeah.
Whoever caught that cash cow before it got milked was a genius.
I forget who made the game.
A heartless,
it
soulless genius.
was their 56th game they made. They made 56 games before making Angry Birds, and that was their success. So it's sort of try again. And with the gaming market, you never really know where it's going, but like you just have to find. Like you can't even predict the market that much. It just happens. If it's a success, it'll be a random success.
Yeah, I think it was probably kind of dumb luck that it ended up taking that many tries. By the time he was on Angry Birds, that was the time where social mobile gaming and stuff actually started to blow up. And he was like, "Oh my god, it's the perfect launch pad for this shit!" Like, because essentially that did start everything.
Yeah.
I mean, people say Bejeweled, but Bejeweled did not cross-platform and grow as quickly.
Candy Crush is Bejeweled with cross-platform. It basically is the same thing.
But no, like it was Angry Birds that started. Even though I don't like to admit it, because I think it's such a fucking basic game.
Yeah.
It doesn't like as a product, as a business model. I think it's up there and should be fucking looked at and taught. As an actual game, it's not that fucking anything.
Yeah.
It's so basic.
A game with basic mechanics that's really easy to play but can be fucking frustrating is the games that make big money. Like Angry Birds is easy, you just sort of ping the bird bag, but you will not get past that level unless you strategize mentally about it.
That's right. It's essentially the Tetris of the new era.
Yeah. Like I fucking hate Candy Crush. But I still play it because it frustrates me.
That's like I don't play those little games as much, but Hitman, the Absolution, that was a game that frustrated the shit out of me because it showed you every time you lost a point for not being perfect. But I like killing people, you know. I like putting them unconscious and putting them in boxes and stuff like that. But you lose points.
Yeah.
So like I replayed so many levels, so many fucking times to the point that I hated the game because I had to get it as perfect as I possibly could, you know. But at the same time, it didn't stop me from loving the shit out of it. Like, it's weird how games are probably the only things that can do that to you. That you can actually fucking detest.
Oh, so.
But I love them, and if someone's like, "Dude, just don't play it." No, if you take it from me, I'll kill you. Whereas if it's a movie shit, you're like, "This is balls, I'm not watching this."
Yeah.
If a book's crap, you're like, "Fuck this, firewood."
Yeah.
And pretty much anything you bail on straight away if you're that fucking frustrated. A game, I've broken controllers. I have had fallouts with family for like a day and I scream to get out of the room like, "You are dead later on. I'm gonna fucking kick the shit out of you.
Like,
you're in so much trouble."
With games, you become so much more immersed in it because you're controlling a player on screen or like first person. You feel like you're in the story if it's a good story. But with films, like if your favorite person dies, you're gonna throw the remote at your friend next to you and be like, "What the fuck did that happen? Why did you do that?" And like it's just like something you're not immersed in, it's just something you're watching, so you're more passive about it. But you get so into games, and I fucking love games, even though they're frustrating sometimes.
They're so good. There's so many times that like I've wasted hours trying to perfect something that did nothing but make me feel, "Hey, I did it."
Yeah.
You know, that has no accolades and can't be translated into any other thing in life. But I enjoyed it and I was really proud.
That's true. It's just a little sense of satisfaction you get that game keeps feeding you every now and again if they do it carefully. Like if a game just you can play through it with no challenge, it's sort of a bit meh. Oh, okay, I'm just on the bus home. You just want something simple, but still you need that little bit of.
Everyone likes a challenge. Everyone likes to. Not that they like to fail, but when you fail and then you achieve after, it's a really good feeling. And I think it's something that is missing for the most part in a lot of kids, especially since nowadays there's the whole medal for trying.
Yeah.
And like, there is a college or a
medal for showing up.
There's a high school in. I want to get the better information about this, but there is a high school in a particular state, and it's this one particular high school that the people who attend and everything, parents have all agreed this is going to be the new rule of the high school. They've taken out placement in sports.
Yeah.
People get, everyone gets gold, just for playing, and that's it. There's no competition. There's no understanding of failure and loss and plant and payoff. There's no concept of when you actually put the work in, you can see the result straight off hand.
Yeah.
Because people will say that in school, but you don't see any results of any of the stuff you've done in school or college until way fucking later.
Yeah.
And you don't even see it as it's happening. It's after it's happened, 10 years later you go, "Holy fuck, I'm here now.
Yeah.
Whoa, all this happened. Oh yeah." And then you piece it together. But when you're talking about doing something like a physical activity or a game, something where it's immediate results for your effort, it builds fucking character.
Yeah.
And without that, you become really douchey.
Yeah.
And you can see it a lot in
expect
people.
things to be handed to you in life.
Yeah.
If there's no challenge. Like, I suppose probably people think...
Because you're not going to achieve that much either, because you're not really sure what your potential is, because you've never really tested yourself.
Yeah, that's true. I'm hoping to go to GDC, you know, the Game Developers Conference in San Francisco this year, maybe. If I can do that.
Ooh, that would be amazing.
It'd be expensive, though. But if I get, like, I think Invest and I do some sort of deal.
If you get into the GDC, they reimburse you for, like, your ability to fucking do all this shit, to get over there and shit, don't they?
GDC?
Yeah, if you get into the thing that, like, you go away and stuff like that, they pay for it.
Oh, yeah. I think Invest and I are doing something like that with small companies. Like, they'll pay for, I think, the tickets or something. You just have to pay for half your flights. So I'm going to try and get in that deal or something. I really want to go to that. Like, there's some good speakers. I was watching, I thought it would be kind of cool. There was a place in GDC either last year or the year before that was just a conference for female-only speakers, which people are kind of like females in the game industry, there's obviously like a lack of them, so they really tried to push it, but I think it's like exaggerating a problem that you're like, okay, there's no women, we'll just make an all-women panel or something.
Yeah,
it's kind of I don't know, I have mixed feelings about it, and some of the women they had on it were like angry feminist type women. There's just like there's too many men, they're all sexualized, women are objects and all this. It's like, no, only it's like a few things of women are objects. Like, it's a very strange water to get into with that shit, because I think, as you said, like it's kind of doing harm to itself. Yeah.
I think that it's the standard thing of going from one bias form to another bias form. And I think you're not doing any favours. And what I think is worse and really bad about the over-feminists is a lot of times you'll see that it makes people, or they'll get across the point that you should feel bad about looking pretty. You should feel bad about wanting to look nice and dainty. You don't need to impress a man. You're doing that for the man. Yeah. It's like, why can't I feel good about looking healthy and clean and nice? Why does that make me a whore? You know? And it's the same with dudes, you know? It's like, why can't I be like proud about being physically strong or you know, being a man and being able to take shit?
Yeah.
You know, why do I have to feel that that's a downfall? If anything, these are our strengths and we should play off them.
Yeah.
You know, because there are the differences. Whereas without those, we're just might as well be grey aliens.
Yeah.
You know, and it's a slippery slope. I think you don't help anybody when you have an alternate party fighting against the other things. Like, either neutral ground of everyone's the same, this is bullshit.
Like, I'd like them to put women on the panel because, like, they're fucking good at what they do. Because, like, the men on the panel are just, like, they're on the panel because these are the people that they want to hear about, because that particular man is really good at this and people find him interesting. Whereas, okay, maybe we'll put a woman on because we don't have enough women. She can talk about something for half an hour and that'll be fine. Whereas, like, this girl here is really good at this and no one else is, so let's have her talk rather than... Like, it'd be nice to have women on it, rather, like, as a mixed thing, rather than being, this is a women-only panel, just because...
You want a person who's proper for the job, rather than a guy or a girl simply because they're a guy or a girl.
Yeah, like...
Which should be the way everything's fucking done, like... I think when you get into semantics about, oh, well, you see a guy or a girl or a gay person or a straight person, it's like... You're making something that doesn't exist. I'm
really passive about those sort of things. Like, I have no strong views on it. It's just like, yeah, whatever. Like, if they're gay, so what? Like, I remember my mother, when she came down to Dublin. Like, there's a lot of gay couples in Dublin, especially, and we were walking around just shopping, and there were two men walked past holding hands, and she came up close. She was like, "Here, there's a gay couple over here," like whispering it to me. I was like, so it's fine. And she goes, okay, it's fine. And it's the same in the game industry when there's like, there's a girl over there, like, why? It's like she probably play games and is interested in that.
It's like, look at that wild creature over there. Does it bite? What is it? I don't know. Let's approach it with a stick. You know, it's like, It's looking at you going, what are those guys doing walking over really weirdly with a stick?
Out of my eye.
Yeah, what is this? I think actually South Park did it brilliantly, right? You know, there's a nurse who has a dead fetus hanging out of her head, right? And they made a song and everything, dead fetus hanging out of the side of your face, woman. But they had this big South Park hullabaloo, and everyone came down to this big event to honour your one. She's so brave, you know, and she acts normal when she has this thing going on the side of her head, and it's important for us to treat her, you know, the same with respect and all this. And they all wore bandanas with a dead fetus on the side of it so they could all be like her. And after loads of praise and all this stuff, they finally get it to speak. And like, oh, yeah, you got her and all this. She gets the microphone and goes, I would like to say you are by far the most horrible, mean, vindictive, biased and naive people I have ever met in my entire life. I was living fine, but you have made it a huge point to point out that I'm different. Fuck you. I've spent my life trying to be the same, and you just made it huge that I'm different. You've ruined everything. So I hope you all realise you're horrible people. And she walks off and everyone's like, and they just take the thing off their heads immediately. I was told to come here. My wife brought me here. I shouldn't have been in it.
Also, South Park did something sort of similar to that when, you know, the Terrence and Philip show?
Yes.
And they had the Queen sisters, and then they came out like, that's disgusting.
Yes.
And then they did it the other way around. It's like the same for, like, it's like the girl version of that and then the guy version of that, and then each other person thinks it's really weird what the other person is doing. You're like, it's disgusting. How dare you do that?
I will say, though, they do make a good argument, which, I don't know if it's Terrence or Philip, just goes, yeah, but babies come from there. It's like, it's the only argument they can think of, but it's like, there actually is weight to that, but whatever.
True.
But no, they're a fucking brilliant show for laying some massive truth bombs, like.
Have you seen the console wars one recently?
No, I haven't watched. I've only watched one episode from the new season, and I can't even remember what it was. Oh, it was the one with Shitter.
Yeah.
And I have to say, they're still dynamite. Because for the whole episode, it's like.
Because everything they do is picking on something currently. Like, the last 3 episodes have been a 3-parter on
console wars.
Game of Thrones and the 2 console wars. So it's like, one is good and light, the other is dark and vindictive, and that's like Xbox versus PlayStation. And then it's just based around Black Friday, like them trying to get the deals, but it's Game of Thrones, so it's like 2 different armies trying to fight for the same thing. It's really stupid.
That's fucking brilliant.
And there's Bill Gates beating up the president of Sony.
Is that no, Hideo Kojima is Metal Gear. I can't remember the name of the Sony guy, but it's a name that you hear all the fucking time, like tossed around. Yeah, I have to say I'm really looking forward to things like Destiny and the future for games, but at the moment I am not impressed with the consoles, man. I'm not impressed with what they can do. I'm not impressed with the fucking failures they've had already. I don't give a shit if people are like, do you know how much it costs to make one? Well, make it so you don't lose out. Alright? And the games themselves,
they're not great. Like,
they don't seem next gen.
Even that the Xbox One tour is playing them, it's like, it doesn't seem that much different. Like, they just have them on really nice TVs, so they kind of look nice. Like, the graphics aren't too much better.
And I know they say, oh, well, at the start, you know, Xbox 360 games weren't that good either. But you know what? When you saw an Xbox 360 advert compared to an Xbox game or a PlayStation game, you're like, whoa, the future is here. Holy shit. And over time, they got better. These look the same, just a bit better graphics, which you can get in the PC anyway. There's like, nothing blowing my mind about them.
Like, oh, like, because you're in the gaming industry, are you like really excited for this? It's like, no, and like, there's just this whole sort of bummed out attitude in everyone in the gaming industry. You think we'd be the people that would be the most hyped about it? I mean, probably for developers it's more interesting because they can, it's something new for them, but as a player, people just are a bit, it's 400 quid. I'm fine, I have my Xbox. I don't need it.
Do you think it's because we're older and we've more understanding of responsibilities and money and what we can spend our money on and things we have to save for that we can't necessarily save for something like that anymore? Because we have other things we need to save for? Do you think that's kind of part of the reason?
I think even if I had a lot of money, I wouldn't be running out there to go and buy one. But
true.
I've seen like a lot of younger kids are getting them because what's new to them is something they have to look cool. It's kind of like, oh, I got the new Xbox One and you don't. Like, you still have your old shitty Xbox. It's like, when you're older, you just don't see that competitiveness and that draw to get something if there's nothing overly powerful to draw you into it. Like this new game is amazing, completely different from anything ever that's only on the Xbox One or the PlayStation 4. Like, I need to buy that console to be able to play that game. It's just like,
I haven't got that from
FIFA.
it. Yeah. What have you done? Well, it's FIFA, so nothing. Oh, okay. Are the graphics better? Not really. No. There's only so much graphics we can tweak in a football game, to be honest.
Me card read good.
Oh, okay. Well, so... Right, why is that 65 quid then? Yeah. It shouldn't be. You're like, okay, well, not going to buy your product. Yeah. That would be an honest conversation with the fucking developers of that game. But, yeah, no, there's nothing is drawn... Well, there's also the thing of when I got the first 360, I was one of the stupid people who bought the first release of the 360. Yeah, went through 7.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, granted, I did like smoke a lot in my room, so that's probably one of the reasons. The fan probably got ripped out.
I wouldn't do it with smoke. I wouldn't do that with smoke.
No, I didn't think so either. I thought that was the reason.
It was just shit.
It was just shit. Yeah. Exactly. I went through 6 or 7 of them, and they were just like constantly fucking red ringing, and there was all these different problems, and then like stuff with the hard drive and bringing your profile over sometimes. Yeah. Like, no. You've lost everything, and we can't recover it. Yeah. Sorry. And all that shit. So I've learned my lesson not to buy a console or any new latest gen tech on its first few goes.
It's best to leave it for a while as well, especially with the new Xbox. I mean, people have been saying that there's been errors and bugs and stuff like that, and it's best to wait. Like, you're not missing out on anything.
Yeah, and even especially when I heard one of the big problems was the disc tray in the Xbox, and it's people like, if you go to YouTube, you can hear the recording of it, and it's just when you press start with the disc, and you're like, oh my god, no, you poor thing. It's like a horrible sound you don't want to hear.
Quite a few times when I was at the Xbox One tour, there are just people sitting down playing their game, and then they just put their hand up like, it's not working, or what's that line, or my game's frozen, or just like, it's shit. Why did we come here? But it was free, so
yeah.
And there was a whole big Call of Duty online battle at the Xbox One tour, and the winner won a fucking keyring. Like, there's no free swag. I know you're just getting free swag at gamer stuff, but it's just like,
that's bullshit.
I find Xbox's attitude is just like, people are gonna buy it. Like, just, why do we have to try? You know?
Yeah, which is really piss poor considering. It was the opposite of that attitude, which is why people bought the Xbox and, trusted the 360. And it's also a huge reason why, from the get-go, before they even released the consoles, just in the wake of all the rumours and when they did the first... the
price?
No, what's it called?
E3?
E3, thank you. When they did the first E3, the Expo, when they showed the first release of PlayStation and the 360.
When they said the Xbox price with a few boos, and then when the PlayStation 3 after announced it.
Not only that, man... There was something about the Xbox that really, really upset me. Everyone who was talking about it talked the exact same way they would talk if they're on a business meeting, proposing a business thing for business people to do business with.
Yeah.
It was very particular way of speaking, their hands would come out and come back in, centered in like this. If you notice, their hands will always do that thing that commentators or something do.
Multimedia comes up.
And all this stuff, and they said like TV. If you actually go, like, it's been YouTube, like, and edited, they say TV about 90 times and games like 10 times.
Yeah.
And all this shit, and was like, I don't like how this is being pitched already, it's just bullshit marketing strategy. And loads of people on the get-go complained when they saw that thing, because they were like, yeah, we're not retards, you're speaking to the wrong choir. Like, gamers are the most nitpicky, just along with comic book fans, immediate to fucking burn people at stake for screwing around.
Like, if they're like, oh, you can go on Facebook and Netflix on your Xbox, and you can go on Google and Bing on your Xbox, because for business people, they're like, oh wow, they can use like so much shit on their Xbox now, they don't have to even go on the computer anymore. Whereas as a normal person, you're just like, I don't want to go on Facebook on my Xbox. I'd have to like use the weird directional buttons to get the mouse to move around. It's just shit.
It's not right. Plus, it's not Facebook.
Yeah.
It's not. And I defy them saying that it is, because it's a shit shit version of it. And also, they said all this stuff, like you said before, about your friends, like, oh, you can get Netflix in the new console. And like, yeah, you could get Netflix in the old one.
Yeah. I get Netflix on my fucking phone if I want, you know.
As long as you have gold. I've gold with my Slim.
Yeah.
I've Internet Explorer. Like, you have all those things. I already have all that shit. But I don't use it because it's crap.
Yeah.
Although, funny enough, right? The Internet Explorer, okay, anyone listening out there, the Internet Explorer on the Xbox, if you've gold, right? It will have very problem finding and showing videos from a lot of fucking shit and a lot of different sites. Do you know what it has no problem doing? For whatever Kodak the people who do porn use, no problem showing you porn. You can't search certain sites because it's protected.
Yeah.
But you can fucking find porn. Because your mate's like, I wonder how good the search engine is. And then my mate turned around and he was like, you got a good porn. It's like the first, you know, how good is the search engine? Is it watertight? What's it like? And yeah, found porn really easy. We're like, it's not going to play the video. Yeah. Played the video, no bother. And we're like, wow, that was way too easy. That's really bad. That's really bad. And considering like I couldn't watch a fucking video of a band from their actual website, and I wouldn't play that, and it's like, but you'll play really weird
really
porn.
Weird with Flash player or something. There's some weird thing with Flash.
It's really odd. I don't get why. It's another thing that pissed me off about the iPhone. Don't tell me I can go on the internet and watch shit if I can't watch shit on the internet.
Yeah, Apple has a weird thing with Flash on mobile devices. I think it might be fixed on the iPhone 5.
For the most part, it's actually been fixed because more and more websites have been either paid or asked to upload in QuickTime as well, because it runs QuickTime. Because I've noticed from different sites that I've gone on to later and been like, or a link from YouTube or from Facebook, I'm like, oh, I could never actually use this site before to download it, to look at anything, and now I can. Like, so, and I don't think it's the software on the phone because I haven't updated mine. Because what iPhone does is they keep improving the software closer to the next phone they're going to release.
Yeah.
But the phone they give you
doesn't support
the processing power for it. Like, so it slows down to fuck.
I had the 4S and I downloaded iOS 7 and it was really clunky, like it lagged and froze sometimes when I clicked on certain things. And unfortunately my phone got nicked, so I had to get a new phone, which is also early birthday present anyway. But like iOS 7 just works so much better on it. You know?
Yeah, it's really mean way that they do their stuff. Like. Yeah. So I'm not going to, I'm off iPhone. I got it to see what it was like. I got an Android at the beginning when they weren't really knew what they were doing. And it was pretty shit. It was really slow. But it had a nice promise. Just really slow. And kept crashing. But now they know exactly what they're doing. And I got an iPhone in the meantime. I don't like iPhones.
Really?
I don't like the fact that I don't have freedom to customize and do what I want with it.
Really? See that?
Something that really annoys me.
I think with that.
Really? Yeah. I thought as a developer and an artist, that would be something that would really get to you.
With iPhones?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I don't know. I like my technology.
Well, does it look pretty enough as it is that you don't mind?
Yeah, it's fine. Like, I had Samsung phone before, and like obviously you can change your ringtone to whatever you want. On iPhone, it's a bit weird.
You can't do that on iPhone. You need to pay for a fucking app. It's bullshit.
That doesn't bother me. I like the Apple ringtone because you know, oh, I have an Apple product, I'm fancy. It's like that sort of sex chat.
No, you're a fanboy.
I'm an Apple whore.
Oh no, you're one of those.
I have an iPad in my bag.
You have an iPad when you have an iPhone.
I
no,
use it for
you don't need it. But that is an iPad.
Oh,
with the phone.
I have a lot of Apple things. My babies.
Oh no. Respect.
I really want to get an Apple desktop though because they have the wide monitors for
the fucking huge amazing monitors. Yes. That's the best shit for things like Photoshop and stuff.
Some guy brought his big fuck you Apple monitor to a GameCraft once and he was just sitting behind it. It was this big. And he was just like, it was just a computer. You cannot see this guy. He's just developing on the floor with this big screen.
There's something that's said about those big screens for anything like Photoshop or 3D Max, 3ds Max, or any kind of thing when you're using that you have more than one thing and you're going to have to look and draw and move back from and stuff like that, especially if you're looking for a wide view of something as well. To have a small screen, like when using Unity, and I'll use like a finite state machine, so I have my project, you know, your hierarchy, your project parts and all this stuff, then you have your play window, your project window, and then you have your finite state animations, then your action browser, and it's literally like 20 or fucking 10 solid screens in this one tiny place, and you always have to move to get a small view of this, and then move it back to find this, and it's like, I want 2 monitors or a gigantic wall.
Yeah.
I really just want a wall.
When I work at home, if I'm up in Belfast, I have TV in my bedroom, so I just use the HDMI, plug my MacBook in, and it's fine. But like, it's just handy working on Photoshop now. Maybe have like 12 reference images of something I was drawing on the TV, so I don't have to keep clicking and minimizing on the same screen. It's handy, but it's plugging into the TV. It's just not the same as a monitor unless you have a super nice TV. Probably the colors are all fucked up. Oh, mine just looks so different.
Yeah.
Then I'm just spoiled with the Retina display.
Can you actually explain the Retina display for anyone who doesn't know what it is?
Retina display? It's like super HD. I think maybe I don't know if it's right, but if the pixel size is maybe smaller, or there's more pixels condensed or something, just able.
Does it work on a LED principle? Or LCD? Or?
I have no idea. What's LCD?
The LCD is liquid crystallized display.
Oh, I think it is that.
Really? That's strange, because LCDs tend to be not as clear as an LED. LED is light emitting diodes, and it's like it's really hard to explain when you don't really know enough about it. But whatever it is that they use light emitting diodes is like each light is in a sense ability to have a fuckload of different pixels because it's contrasts a different colour and it can change its colours all the time.
Probably is that then.
Yeah.
It is.
Then that's LED. Wow, that's super clear.
It's sickeningly beautiful.
Yeah, not only that, but you've actually got a really good picture that shows the true quality of it as well.
Yeah.
Every time I get a fucking picture, it's always like grainy in comparison to what the thing is. What pixel would that file have to be beautiful and clear?
I don't know. I think
like one of
everything
those,
just runs in 64 bits. It's probably just anything HD.
HD wallpaper.
Oh fuck! I just realized you're not on the Wi-Fi here. So thick.
That's a nice display though. Wow, it's I see what you mean about the colours, man. It's really clear.
Paying to get the Retina display because I was doing work on my friend's laptop and it's just like I feel like I'm squinting because it's like this. There's this blurry.
Okay. Do you know what it is that makes the Retina display really noticeable?
Thin.
Yeah, you can look at it at a completely different angle, and it barely distorts the image at all, and distorts the colour. Like I was looking at my mate's laptop, and I was sitting on the ground, and it wasn't until I got up I realised the colour of the thing I was looking at was completely fucking different altogether. Like I saw it as very dark metallic colours with a huge reflectiveness on it. Then when I looked up, it was candy colour.
Yeah.
Really bright, and I was like, what the
and like certain screens seem to have this like bluish hue or like this blurriness about it, and it's just really different. Like I'm so used to this. Like,
fucking love my monitor, like I really do.
Just used to like the purity of the screen.
Oh wow, it's so pure.
It feels like you can just zoom in for days on the close up.
Do you like space?
Space? No, that's the generic wallpaper on my Mac. I don't want to cheapen it by like turning on something else.
No, I like space. Space is awesome. Love learning about that shit. Probably why I like Mass Effect so much.
Yeah.
You ever play Mass Effect?
I played it, but I've never owned it.
Never owned it? No. That was. I think that's one of the few games that was a really, really beautiful little thing to have had in the next generation world of games. People got really, really angry about the end and was really, really pissed off. As far as I'm concerned, gamer fans can be the most fucking ungrateful people on the planet.
Totally.
People seem to be really forgiving to movies, which I'm glad about, because I think sometimes people get too up in arms about movies being shit. And it's like, I don't think you get that different movies aren't meant to get Oscars all the time.
Yeah.
Some of them are meant to be pointless, irrelevant nonsense.
I think gamers are a lot like food critics. Like food critics like food and they expect better and they expect to get good quality all the time, like from the best.
Yeah.
Whereas as a gamer, people expect that as well. And I find since working in the gaming industry, I appreciate little games so much more, like indie games and just sort of arty games as well. Like probably before, I'm trying to think of a good example. Oh, I can't think of one. I was just thinking of like games like Limbo that are really basic, but like
and Braid and stuff like that.
Lovely. Yeah. Yep.
And that I can never remember the name of the game, but I don't think there's any script in it, and it's the picture is like a girl in sand,
Journey.
Thank you, Journey.
I
Yeah.
really want to play that. I've
That's
heard really good things about that.
it
Never
looks.
had a PlayStation.
I've never played it, but it looks beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful, and it's also like a really intelligent way of making a game that's very easy to make more levels and more shit out of. Like there's no fucking UV mapping. There's very little detail to the structure and shit. It's very plain colors and stuff like that. There's not a lot of lighting and post-processing needed. It's very simple, and you can really churn out a lot of stuff.
It's things like that make me want to get a PlayStation over the Xbox. I find the Xbox is very status heavy. Like
yes.
Like this T-shirt isn't nice, but because this brand is selling it, you'll wear it. And whereas this cheapy brand made this really cool looking thing, so you buy it. Or I think the Xbox is very status driven games, and PlayStation seems to just it's this more homely atmosphere about PlayStation in general as a company that they support more indie games and sort of things that are beautiful for the sake of being beautiful rather than making money.
Here's why I like, and why because one of the things I was going to say earlier on, but I tracked off myself was after hearing all the shit in E3. I'm totally getting PlayStation before I get an Xbox, and I made that decision a long time ago. Mainly, one of the things was after playing a PlayStation 3, I realised it's not that much different from the Xbox at all, and people bullshit. A lot of people lie about shit but it's not that much different in the same sense that it doesn't deserve to be told that the 360 is dog shit because they're really fucking similar. And it doesn't matter what processing power the PlayStation can actually... Did you know a PlayStation can be used like launch a rocket? Well, that's not what I bought it for. So it doesn't matter what the fuck it can do in the future. I don't care. But yeah, there just seems to be an air of... The main heads seem to still be gamers. I get a feeling from a lot of the stuff, like when you look at the main PlayStation dude who everyone knows his name, who doesn't look half as old as you think he would, considering he's been in the business for fucking ages. Same with Hideo Kojima. He looks like 40, and he's been doing Metal Gear. What was he, like 2 when he started coding that game? Because he must be in his 60s, but he doesn't fucking look at it all. He looks like a child. But you can tell, and when they were doing the E3, a lot of them were like really nervous and stuff, because like these fucking guys are gamers. These are social retards. These are gamers, like, and you can tell. And even though there are like some shit games, there's not as much at the beginning. Nowadays, pretty much every game worth buying is multi-platform. So they've lost.
For Xbox, the big thing was Halo at the time, because that was like such a huge step up in anything. So people bought that just for that game.
Halo and Gears, and the fact is, Cliffy B has bailed from all that nonsense and from UDK and from that altogether. Like, he's doing his own thing now. Because he's like, no, I got completely pigeonholed. I was able to do the game that I wanted. It did brilliantly. We made Gears 2. That was awesome. We got to tap into Gears 3, but then we didn't really get to do much on what we wanted to change Gears 3 into. And then it was just taken away for the most part. And he was like, he already had just made the decision to bail pretty much before. Like, and now, like, a lot of really, like, because PlayStation's done well, and PlayStation 3 still did well, surprisingly, when they thought it was going to bomb compared to the Xbox. There's a lot of fucking really promising shit coming out for that. Like, Infamous 1, fun game, not amazing. Infamous 2, a bit dead, but overall, better game. You can see where they were going. You can see they've improved a lot. Infamous 3 looks bad ass. Like, seriously, legit. Like, and that game, Knack, unbelievably unique. That looks... I can't wait to play that game. That looks so fucking unique.
I've heard of it.
Pardon?
What's it called?
Knack. N-A-K.
I haven't heard of it.
It's a dude who has a friend who's a monster. But the monster can get bigger and smaller relevant to matter around him. And he's made out of all these like individual floating polygons and spheres and stuff. And as you get better and as he gets better, he becomes bigger and bigger. And he can get bigger and bigger and bigger, or small and small, to help you solve puzzles and to help you do battles and stuff. It's really weird, but just the way the relationship between the characters looks really unique. And how the character of Knack, his animations and how he's visibly shown is really, really cool. And I think it's going to be a real cool dynamic that's like fresh. Because as far as I'm concerned, with Battlefield, with Call of Duty, with all that shit, all those games are point at the head and press the right trigger.
I've never been a huge fan of it. I can totally see why people love Call of Duty or something. But
well, Battlefield's different than Call of Duty. I will give a bit of up to Battlefield because it's so big and you can do so much shit with jet fighters. It was more popular
on the Xbox One tour as well. They had more of them set up.
But no, the Call of Duties and stuff, a lot of those games are just shoot them in the head, and that's the entire game.
If you get a higher score, you win.
Yeah, shoot them in the head quicker than someone's going to shoot you in the head.
There's no story. Story's just filler for in between.
Oh, the stories are woeful. And Black Ops was the last time. Black Ops 1 was the last time they did a good story. And that was it. And that was just because they basically stole from Vietnam. And any kind of thing from Vietnam is going to be good because you got the backings of Platoon and shit like that to work with. But, yeah, no, on the future, or for the most part, where do you want to be? Where do you want to go from?
In the future, it's going to sound pretentious, but I'd love to run a big gaming company, but not as a business head, as in like, oh, I'm big and rich, I can do whatever I want, but in the sort of Riot philosophy where everyone that works here fucking loves what they're doing and everyone's really comfortable with it and we make fucking amazing games. So nice. I want to do something big and
like Valve kind of thing.
Yeah. So that sort of thing. That's what I want to do.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's I think that's something that is drastically missing.
Yeah.
Which is sad because that started what made games beautiful. And I think all forms of art, be it movies, music or games and books, they all have to face that.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, games has come out at a time where things just happen so much quicker anyway, that it went from this great, beautiful thing to start to get butchered really, really, really quickly because there's such a difference in how much things change now.
Definitely.
But hopefully, I think, as long as people like yourself are still out there making the games, and as long as people like yourself and myself and people I know appreciate the proper games and have, without even realising, naturally boycotted the stuff that are like, this is shit, without going on a massive rant about it or, you know, gathering people to your cause, you just end up, you know, stopping. And then when other people find out that people in their group are like, no, I don't play that, and here's why, and they're like, it's actually a really good reason. I might use that 60 quid for something else, actually. That's a good point, you know. I think that's what's going to help it survive the storm at the moment. But I think the bad thing, I think we're seeing at the moment, it's going to get a bit worse before it gets better. So hopefully by the time that you're set to start up your own shit, that it'll be like the perfect fucking window.
Yeah, I hope so.
So you can be the next Valve.
Yeah, I'm actually working on a game at the minute that we hope to progress to do something big in the future with another group of friends. A friend we started with is called Anox Industries as well, and we're working...
Called which, sorry?
Anox Industries.
Anox.
Yep. ANNOX. And we're working on a game at the minute. When he told me about it, I thought that's a really bad idea. Tower defense. You think there's a million tower defense games?
Yeah.
But we kind of hope it to be like tower defense meets EVE Online type thing, meets sort of StarCraft type game.
Ooh.
So like you could play it on your phone, like you know what it's like playing a simple tower defense game. You have your AI, your army, you control them, they go off, be your minions to do what you want.
Yeah.
But if we're hoping to integrate that onto consoles as well. So the AI people that are playing with the AI on your phone are real players on the console. So
nice.
Like, if you have an army of 10 people, you're playing on your phone, you send them off to go attack turret, that's 10 people sitting on their Xboxes fighting for you.
Oh, so the people on the console will get first person?
Well, yeah, they can play either way, or they can play AI version and...
Okay, can you make this game?
Yeah.
Because I have loved those style of games for a long time, but I couldn't help but play them and go, I want to be in that field, which is actually...
It's kind of like the God Sim where you control your turrets and your army, but you can be stuck right in the battle and fight like head on.
That's actually made our conversation come full circle, because that's probably the dynamic in Battlefront that made it so brilliant. It has the gameplay of a massive strategy game, but you get to actually be that infantry. And I think to do the both together would be a very unique thing, especially since you know that computer is actually a person. Not only does that build more confidence, but it grows the gaming thing as a whole. So it's not just you're all on the field together, whatever. Like you have people here who are doing like back there, and they're doing, you know, the tower defense stuff, and you have people on the grounds, and then like
there's a drastic difference between purely console gamers and purely PC gamers.
Yeah.
And with this, it's going to be PC and console, and like maybe iPhone or like tablets if it's, I know it's mainly focusing on PC and console. So you could be playing, like if people liked EVE Online or League of Legends or any mobile games, you'd be playing with console gamers from your PC all in one world. So we're thinking of like doing something episodically, like you'd have one world and there's stories, and then maybe the next episode would be a different part of that world, but it's all based around the same place.
Same universe, different worlds in a sense.
Yep. So that's what I hope to do.
That is a really, really cool idea.
Yep.
And I think that would do really well. And the fact is, if Microsoft really tried to do that and it failed miserably.
Yeah.
And I think your version of it will like basically wherever they failed, that's the secret formula to it.
Yeah.
Because when they did Shadowrun, they tried to make it so PC and Xbox could all play the same game, and it was shit.
Yeah.
Because anyone who has a PC is predominantly better at the game.
Yeah.
There's faster frame rate, everything. But when you have it that you're not playing the same game, but you are playing the same game in a sense, you completely cut out the need to optimize and to cross over certain things which you can't do with PC and console. Essentially, you're playing two different games, but there's just a visual UI link to it for the aesthetic and to keep it in cohesion, but there's no actual need to demand on both of them pulling off each other's code, which is a brilliant solution to that problem. Was that your idea?
That was a sort of collective idea from the group we have at the minute. So it was like, oh, why don't we do a tower defense game and just like develop from there onto what they wanted to do. So I hope to be something big in the future that's just purely player focused, because I think player focused things are the fucking best games ever. Because if it's monetization, that's it. Then it's quantity rather than quality, and like quality is important as a player.
Business has fucking ruined anything artistic that it touches. It just destroys it, like.
It's true.
But well, hopefully that goes through, because I would absolutely play that fucking game.
It will take a long time before it does, but I'm excited for it as well.
And it's been a fucking pleasure talking to you.
Thank you so much.
Actually, really good conversation, and I hope that people enjoy what you have to say, and if they don't, go fuck yourself.
Yep.
But I'm sure they will, because you're a very interesting person, and you actually said a good bit of light on the whole dynamic of the thing. So, you want to say again your email address or anything that people can contact you? And
my name is Hayley McConaghy, and my Gmail is...
For those of you who don't speak Belfast, that's Hayley McConaghy.
McConaghy.
McConaghy?
Yep. Oh,
McConaghy, sorry. I'm a retard.
So my email, if anyone wants it, is HAYLEYMCCONAGHY1@gmail.com. And you guys can email me of any questions you want. I'm free to talk. I don't bite. And I'll happily answer anything. So that's great.
Yeah, she's actually a very cool person, and she's said, so she's really nice. So don't be weird. And say hello. Even encourage her. Just send her a message and say, you're doing good. And stuff like that. You know, it's nice to get those kind of emails. Especially from strangers, like, thank you. Anyway, so yeah.
Thank you very much for everything.
I hope you enjoyed the Free Bant Express, and take it easy, everybody. Mwah.